Hi, my name is Emily Kate, and I'm here to share my breast cancer journey with you. Audrey Hepburn said, "The beauty of a woman is not in the clothes she wears, the figure that she carries, or the way she combs her hair." I'm going to start today way before breast cancer and just talk about my and all women's weird relationship with their breasts. I'm going to go back to middle school when I was 12, 13 years old. Back when my best friends and I totally flat. We had no breasts. A lot of the other girls were developing. It's always that time when everybody's develops at different times. I remember they'll kill me when they see this, but I had these twin best friends, still my best friends. I think they call them buried treasure, sunken chest. They probably called me that too. I can't remember. Anyway, so we just longed, I don't know even why, we longed for breasts. We wanted to have breasts like probably the women we saw in commercials, on TV and shows. And I also had three much older sisters who already were developed. Even I remember back in the day, we had this exercise. We said, I must increase my chest. And we did some kind of thing like that. I don't know. It was silly. We really believed that that was going to help us grow breasts. And we also, for some urban myth, thought that there was some ingredient in Twinkies that would make you grow breasts too.
We must increase our bust.
I can't remember where that came from. Who knows? Maybe it was true. I don't know. I remember we used to take our t-shirts and fold them over to give that illusion of having some little breasts. Some of us stuffed our shirts or our training bras. I never did that, but I remember a lot of girls did that. And I just remember wanting a training bra so bad. I don't even know why. I had no breasts. I think part of it was probably from that book, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, the Judy Blume book, because I remember her getting the training bras. She was in the same boat as us. We really related to her because she wasn't developed yet. Some other girls were. So eventually I convinced my mom to get me a training bra. And it was like between an underoos, if you remember underoos, and undershirt. It was just a little half shirt, but I felt so good having that. And it was 13. When I hit 13, got my period, all of a sudden, boom, I went from flat to a full C cup. I was 5 foot nothing, 90 pounds, and had all of a sudden, these massive breasts. Didn't know what to do with them. I remember vividly the big changing point for me was the ninth grade picnic. I think I borrowed this purple bathing suit. It was one-piece bathing suit. I think I probably borrowed it from my sisters. I don't remember where it came from. No, it had cutouts on the side, really sexy, but I had no idea. I never thought of myself as pretty or sexy. I just put this bathing suit on and I had these huge breasts. Cute. I was really cute. I didn't even know it. So I remember walking around the ninth grade picnic, and suddenly boys who never talked to me before were following me around. And instead of feeling happy and empowered and confident, great about myself, I was confused. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't trust it. So I felt confused, bothered, and it actually didn't boost my confidence. I was just like, what if they only like me for my breasts? So then I started to cover them up. A lot of girls, it gave them a power and a confidence. And I guess I wasn't comfortable with my sexuality, and I just didn't know what to do with them. So I covered them up. So I think that started my love-hate relationship with my breasts. I fast forward to college. I think I was starting to feel better about my body a little bit and wearing clothes that showed my body a little more. I never went really sexy, but it would bother me double standards. I had friends who had small breasts and we would wear the same thing. And I would be looked at as slutty in a tank top, where another friend could be classy. And that bothered me as well. Then living in Philly, I remember walking down the street and men would whistle at me and even try to grope me. And I became really aggressive and combative with that. I was stupid too, because I was just, again, still tiny, didn't know how to fight, and I would push them away. I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but still had that, again, this is a love-hate relationship still going on. I was really cute, had this great figure, and I don't know why I didn't embrace it and let it empower me Instead, it bothered me and made me angry. So breast became something that I had to manage, not enjoy. Another thing I didn't get to yet is the bras. When you have a tiny frame and but at this point I was in college, 34 double D, still maybe 115, 112. So I'm still like really tiny, huge breasts. So when you have a really small back, really big cup size, those bras are really hard to find. Back then, at least. Maybe I think the whole bra world is different now. I don't have breasts anymore. We'll get to that later. But I think that they've solved these problems. So back then, bras were really expensive, $40 to $50 each, and really hard to find in my size. At this point, let's go to 1994. I met Julius, who's now my husband, and he started buying bras for me. That was something that was really amazing because that was a really annoying part of my life. And he saw that you shouldn't have one bra, you should have 10 bras. So he would always find sales, but they were always really expensive. Another point is having the large breasts. That's one thing I was educated on, is that larger breasts are very fibrous, lumpy, and you should self-exam. I think also back then it wasn't talked to as much to young girls, young women. I feel like now there's more advocacy for breast cancer, but thank God I was taught that. And just a year later, after I had met, we were going to 1994 when I met Julius. A year later, I felt something in my left breast, small lump. I noticed right away, and I think at that point I was like 28, 29. And I went, thank God, had this great OBGYN who was actually she was a nurse practitioner, but she really saw me. And a lot of doctors, if you're that age, I think you're too young to get a mammogram, but she pushed for me to get one. That also, if you never had a mammogram, when you have I don't know if it's different, if it's painful for everyone, but with the big breasts, it was awful. They take your breasts and they squish them between, I recall it like pieces of plexiglass. It was a horrible experience, but very necessary. So at that point, they found a pea-sized lump in my breast, and not really a big thing. They just said, just keep an eye on it. So they found a pea-sized lump in my left breast, and I didn't really think about it then. I don't think I was really that scared. I just thought it was something that had in the back of my mind. She said it's tiny, it's something to keep an eye on. And that's what I did for many years. We'll just go 2 years up to 97. Julius and I got married, started a life. We had a baby the next year. And at that time, I was on epilepsy medication for seizures, so I wasn't able to breastfeed. So here's another kind of bringing back to the love-hate relationship with the breasts. Because as I said, I was a 34 double D. So my first pregnancy, my breasts grew to an F. Still, even though I was pregnant, I was still a tiny person. So thank God, I lived in Philly, and there was this great, I don't know if it's still there was this great bra shop on Moyamensing Avenue in South Philly. I wish I remember the lady's name. The woman who helped me was so nice, and we had fun, and she helped me find a bra to fit my massive breasts. And then after I had my baby, I couldn't breastfeed because I had medication in my system. So I had to they got bigger. I don't even know what size they were at that point because they were who knows? I don't know. They got massive because they had to fill up with milk. And I had got cabbage leaves that dries up the milk. And the cabbage leaves are huge. They fit. I've covered my whole breast. Had to let the milk dry up. In 2000, I put the cabbage leaves on my breast, let the milk dry out. Then 2 years later, I had another child, had to do it again. I had to go through that process again, breasts getting huge, drying them up. And then in 2006, that was the third child, Gideon, and finally I could breastfeed. And I'm so grateful that I was able to at least breastfeed one child. So that was a beautiful experience, and that's a love part of the breasts. It's amazing that our breasts can nourish our children. So I was so grateful that I was able to breastfeed our son Gideon. It's amazing that breasts produce milk that can feed a child. That's part of the love of the breasts for me. I'm just so glad that I had that opportunity before I lost my breast, that I was able to have that experience. After the kids, my breasts had deflated a little, they weren't the same. And then we go into, I didn't love them again because they weren't as nice as they used to be. Thinking that maybe I should have appreciated them a little more when I had the nice full breasts, because after you've had 3 children, they kind of deflate a little bit. And there we are again. I have another back to the hate, I guess, feeling I didn't feel confident. And it's sad because I started to appreciate them, then they started to deflate and they were different. And fast forward now to 2011, Julius was looking at me and he noticed, he could visibly see a lump on my left breast. Now that is a good thing that my breast had deflated, because we probably wouldn't have been able to see that if I still had the full breast. We were going back into 2011 and Julius looked at my chest and he could see a visible lump on my left breast. Likely that one lump that we hadn't thought about since 1994. And that's when then I was scared. Then it's scary that you don't really think for, it was 15 years had gone by, hadn't lived a life. We did a lot of things and had children, and I wasn't thinking, it wasn't even in the back of my mind, really. So that's when things got real. And we didn't have insurance at that time. So I went right away, went to a local clinic and couldn't get seen for weeks. So at that point, you start to really think. I think sometimes the waiting is worse than the diagnosis, the not knowing. So it gives you too much time to research, go online and look at what it could be, and just get too deep, go too much in your head. And I just worried. And in the meantime, I can't remember exactly, but we did get insurance. And that's when I went to see our general surgeon that started me on this journey. So she told us that I had aggressive breast cancer, which is very scary. So we went to see the general surgeon, and she felt the lump and she suggested we get a biopsy. So that was the beginning of the journey. We did the biopsy, and then it was discovered that I had 3 lumps in my left breast. So I don't know exactly what happened with that. It wasn't just the one that grew, had 3 lumps. And she told us I had aggressive breast cancer, which sounds aggressive. That word is so strong and scary. So this started the journey, and we probably didn't ask enough questions. We just trusted her blindly and just went right into, what do we have to do? Just get it out. Do whatever you need to do to get it out. And so we're sitting with this aggressive breast cancer diagnosis, thinking, I thought I was asking enough questions. I thought that I made my little list, but I really didn't know what I was doing. And when you hear aggressive, you just say, just get it out. Do whatever you need to do to get it out. So after the biopsy, she told us I had aggressive breast cancer. The word was so scary to us. We just wanted to do whatever she said. We trusted her a little too blindly and just went with whatever she said to do. We said, sure, just go do it. Hearing there was not just one tumor, that was really scary as well. And I should have asked more questions for sure. But to sum it all up, I just today wanted to talk about the tumultuous journey of my relationship with my breasts. Going from longing, being flat and longing for those breasts that when you think about, I don't even know why we wanted them so badly, to I didn't even get into how I got annoyed with the attention that they gave me, but I also got annoyed with the pain. They were heavy, they hurt my back. The trouble with finding the bras, finding things to wear, then bracing them and loving them again, and learning how to dress, how to look, going to bracing them and wearing clothes that I felt good in, to then having the babies, having to go through huge breasts, small, enlarging, deflating, able to breastfeed, and then they deflated. And there I am. I wish I braced them more when I had them, to, oh, now they gave me cancer. So it's a lot to unpack. It really is. And I do always think back now where I'm at now, and I have no breasts, and I think that I really maybe should have loved them a little more. Maybe I should have appreciated them when I had them. And it's weird. Puberty is weird when you get breasts, and you just, sexuality and the tension you get, it's a lot to unpack. I don't want to focus on regret of having the breasts that I once had. I just wanted to just analyze the whole weird relationship that we have. I don't know if we really talk about it a lot, and there's so many, the need in getting fake breasts, the need to make breasts, make them feel beautiful. I don't know, maybe I need to go delve deeper into this and have some discussions. I'd love to have some discussions with other women too, to see how they feel about their breasts too. But it's a lot to unpack. But look forward to talking to you in the next video.